All right, friends, it is another episode of the Virtual Engagement Ideas Summit. And today we have the very famous Rich Ramos from Iowa. Rich is the Associate Dean of Students at Simpson College, where he's worked for more than 30 years. At Simpson, Rich advises all fraternities and sororities, the Campus Activities Board, and the Student Government Association. Along with working at Simpson, Rich is a freelance major event production human traveling around the country on his off time working at large-scale events. You're taking a little bit of a break from that right now, right?
I am.
You are.
I am. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So a quick question. I know why I love you. Why did your wife marry you?
When we met in college.
Okay.
And I think that I'm an outgoing person, or I'm an extrovert.
Uh-huh.
And I believed in having fun. And so all the way through college, it was more about fun than the whole academic side. I mean, I was one of those students that got C's, get degrees. And surprisingly, I am not sure why we got together. I mean, I think we were fun. We had fun. We hung out. We were friends. And, I clearly married up.
I mean, yeah, I didn't want to agree with you, but
it's the truth. I mean, I'm willing to own it. I married up.
I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, yes, yeah, right.
Yes, you did. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, you are now the dean of associate dean of all that is amazing at Central College and
Simpson.
Watch
it. I went to Central College.
You did go to Central College.
Yeah, I'm a graduate of Central.
Right, you are a graduate of Central College. I'm actually wearing a co-college shirt under this. I'm very Iowa today.
I am going to have to mail you some Simpson College swag.
I bet I have a banner somewhere.
Yes,
I bet I do. In the 30 years of institutional ups and downs, where does COVID rank on your journey?
As far as good or bad?
Let's go with on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being bad.
I would probably say it's a solid 8 to 9.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a 10, because I think that if there's anything about it is that, and I've told this to other friends, that it's there's a part of it in a sick way that's been kind of fun, because it's forced me to think a lot differently. Right? And I get bored super, super easy. So in some ways, it was really kind of cool to be able to look at things completely differently than I'm used to, or than I used to when we had students here on a daily basis and doing stuff like we always used to do. So, I mean, I think it's probably closer to an 8 than it is a 9 even. Yeah. I mean, it still sucks.
Yep, there's no doubting that. Like with the whole, we're all, and I don't mean to, I don't ever mean to like put it under the rug in a conversation. We are in a global like poop show, right? Yeah. And in higher ed, definitely. But on a personal note, like you're not touring this summer. You're not doing major events. So there is you missed that, but there's also sort of a silver lining to that. What's been the best part about not going away?
It's that I'm home and that I'm able to do some things that I normally wouldn't do around this time of year. Yeah. So like one of the places where I work, it's the California Mid-State Fair, and it's 16 days, roughly 16 to 18 hours a day minimum, doing grandstand shows every single day. So it's a different artist every single day, and there's different drama every single day. Yeah. And so it's, the realities of that sort of lifestyle. It's not the healthiest of lifestyles. Right. But there's something still really cool about it. But I'm able to be home. I'm able to have conversations with my kid on a daily basis via FaceTime, but I'm able to do those things. Whereas when I'm working shows, I don't get that opportunity. It's nonstop.
Right. Have you done things? Are there new things that you've put into your life this summer that weren't there before?
Um, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn to be better at like home repair and things like that,
Cool.
and like be a little bit more creative in in some stuff at home. So like I found like some broken parts to an old hammock, and I was like, you know what? I think that I can make this work, and I can fix this with some glue and a bunch of screws and things like that. Those sorts of things. It's enjoying some material, reading and videos that I probably wouldn't find myself watching that I normally would have.
Right. Are they strictly entertainment or are they professional development?
No, there's some professional development.
Yeah.
There is, I love documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch a lot of documentaries,
Yeah.
and enjoy them. And then I am also a good, solid fan of good old fashioned stupid humor.
Yeah.
So like going back and rewatching like Letterkenny. I don't know if you've watched it. Have you watched
No,
it?
I haven't seen any of it, but I'll definitely now do it.
Oh my gosh, on Hulu. It's a Canadian show.
Okay.
It's not family friendly, so don't watch it with the kids.
Wait, is it those guys in the lawn chairs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious.
Hilarious. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, so it's doing things like that, and it's feeling like the pace is considerably slower. It's letting me slow down a little bit at this time when I'm typically going straight from California to in a week later having students on campus.
Yeah.
You know, so it's allowing me to kind of physically be in a place where I am. That's a little bit more casual, a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
But on the reverse of that, I think the challenge is that part of what I enjoy the atmosphere of working the fair and working shows, but it also is one of those things that forces me to think differently.
Yeah.
So in some regards, it really kind of re-energizes me, and so I am missing that part though. I mean, it's probably like you when you're not on the road. While you love being home with your family, you still miss being out there and doing what you do.
Truck stops. I miss truck stops. I miss gas station handles. You know, like the gas pump, the ones where you know that a lot of people have been there.
Yeah, exactly.
I like those. I miss those. Hey, I saw your interview on Oprah, and let me quote something that you said last time you were on her show. You think this time has allowed people to be a bit more innovative in their programming, as well as it has created a space and time to evaluate and assess the value of all that we do. So innovation in programming and questioning the value of what we do. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, I think that in student activities for a long time, it's been looked at as kind of this, I think for a lack of a better way of phrasing it, I think that it's been looked at as we're kind of the cruise directors of a college. Mm-hmm. And we provide the fun and we provide the games. And I think that's been the perception of what we do. Even though there's a lot more to that than what we really do. So I think that it's what it's done, if anything, I think in a lot of cases, in a lot of schools, as schools are typing up their plans and thinking about how they're going to work with students and how they're going to still engage students, from what I'm hearing and talking with colleagues, it's their student activities folks that are being looked at now as the resource and as the experts on how to engage students and how to keep our students connected and how to build that community. And it's in such a way that they've probably never been looked at before. So there's that, which I think is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that in some cases, I think we've also been selling ourselves short about what skills we bring to the table.
Yeah.
And, I think as student activities professionals, I think we bring a ton of skills to the table in a lot of ways, whether it's event planning or it's crowd control management or it's, processes and procedures and event management, all those sorts of things that are now all of a sudden kind of critical as we try and bring students back to campus. So it's that. I think in regards to the other part, I think that it's the assessment piece. I think it's been a really good opportunity, at least for me. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but at least for me, when this all started back in March, at first I think it was right before our spring break. We were thinking, well, maybe we'll be out for a couple weeks and then we'll be back. And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse until finally a decision was made. Yeah, we're not coming back for the rest of the semester.
Yeah.
I think what it allowed me to do is take a look at all of what we do in a traditional sort of format, and how can I still figure out how to make that engagement piece in a virtual sort of space.
Yeah.
And so like it was things like from bingo to painting to trivia to whatever. How do we make that work?
Right.
And I know that there are a lot of folks out there that I could buy those things from, whether they're friends or associates or agents or whoever. There's a part of me that wants to figure it out on my own. You know, I mean, I appreciate all of the folks that do that for their business. I really, really appreciate it.
Right.
But part of what I get energized off of is being able to figure that out on my own.
Sure.
You know, and figuring out how to make bingo virtual. So I spent probably hours, and when I get into a loop, it's like it's one big rabbit hole, and by God, I'm going to figure out how the hell to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so if it's staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning figuring it out, I'm going to do it. And then it's just like you have that hallelujah moment. It's like, oh my God, I've made it. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know how to make it happen.
Right.
So
and then schools hire Rich Ramos to run their bingo program.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But I mean, my students know this, and a lot of people who know me know this. We've been doing bingo on campus for probably the last probably 20, 25 years.
Right.
Actually, I hated bingo when we started it,
Okay.
and I still hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's students love it. It's a great program. I don't know if you know Dan Mitzvin, right?
I do. I sure do. He's a great bingo caller.
Yeah, he is.
He's amazing.
He is the reason why we do bingo at Simpson. And when he first brought it to me and said, we're going to do bingo, I was like, nope, we're not. It's dumb. We're not doing bingo. And he goes, yes, we are. I was like, no, we're not. And lo and behold, it appeared on a calendar, and all of a sudden we're doing bingo. And now 20, 25 years later, we're still doing bingo.
That's great. So I want to just share with you a Dan Mitzvin thing, a story that and I've done this on multiple occasions when I'm in an airport, which I haven't been in a while, but when I'm at gate B11.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right. I take a picture of it and I send it to Dan because we were doing bingo at a leadership retreat in Texas, and he says, Beyonce. Beyonce.
Oh my God.
Beyonce, which is Beyoncé in Spanish, which is Beyonce, B11, right? So B11 from now on, every time I have a flight out of B11, I'm out of Beyonce.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's my Dan Mitzvin bingo story that we now share. Yes. We honor Dan here. Man. Hey, so no, but your point about unapologetically creating the program on your own, I agree. Like, you can hire someone to cut your grass, but Home Depot still sells lawnmowers.
Absolutely.
Right? So you have the choice as the homeowner to hire someone to cut your grass or to go get a lawnmower. And if it's worth your time to get your own lawnmower and cut it, then get it, right? So creating the program on your own, I mean, encouraging homegrown events is great.
And I think the other piece of it is I think it also engages the program board, because I think that sometimes administrators at colleges get really stuck on the numbers of how many students actually participate in the program, but they forget about the students that are behind the scenes doing a lot of work to make it happen.
Sure.
And so it's been an opportunity for us to engage our students in making those events happen too. Well, I may be the one that finds the resource and everything. It's still them that I expect to have help run the program and to help us figure out if this is even the right program for us to use.
Yeah. Bingo.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I just hate bingo.
All right, well, let's talk about something that you do love.
Yeah.
Because you were explaining a platform to me, and I don't remember the name of it, but you've become like the regional master at some platform that you use on campus for certain events, and you were explaining it to me, and my brain turned to mud, and we talked about it before, and you don't remember it either.
I mean, there's been so many platforms that I've looked at.
What has been something that you have mastered more than anyone else?
Who?
Don't say bingo.
I mean, I don't know that I've mastered anything. You know what I mean? I think that I've become proficient in things like Zoom. I've become more proficient in using video streaming software. So like learning some things like using Restream and those sorts of things. I've become much more proficient in that. I think that one of the pieces that I'm learning and becoming a little bit more comfortable with is Remo, which is it's very much so like Lunch Pool. If you've heard of Lunch Pool, but it's basically it's what we're ultimately going to use. Oh, I know what we were talking about. It's Padlet.
Yes.
Padlet. Yeah, Padlet is, it's
Will you spell that for me?
Padlet.
Padlet.
Yeah.
And Padlet is not. It's not. He's not one of the. He's not a character from Lord of the Rings.
No, it is not.
Padlet.
I've never even read Lord of the Rings.
No, Padlet sounds like the seventh dwarf.
It probably does. It probably is.
Hello, my name is Padlet. Hi, set off.
No, but Padlet, I think, has predominantly been used by like teachers.
Okay.
Because it's pretty simple, it's quick, it allows for commentary. And Barb, my wife, is the one who told me about it. And I looked at it, I was like, at first I thought it sounded kind of stupid and it looked kind of stupid. But then as we were kind of working our way through this whole mess of things, it's like, well, there's a whole lot that we can do with this.
Okay.
And it's quickly and easily customizable. I can do it from an app. I can do it from my desktop. I can do it from just about anywhere and make changes and customize it and correct things or add things. So it's been really, really.
But what do you use Padlet? What is its use? What are you doing?
I think the easiest way to kind of put it is it's a glorified electronic bulletin board.
Okay.
And I can literally put anything as a post on that electronic bulletin board. So like in the case of like, I wrote our emergency or event management plan for the college. Yeah. And so I built that whole thing on our Padlet, which includes, we have everything on there from like an FAQ page to we have maps and layouts of rooms on campus that people might frequently use.
So there's a lot of storage in Padlet.
Yeah, you buy it, but yeah, but there is. It's only, I think I only paid like $90 for the year. So it's really pretty inexpensive. And you can create multiple Padlets and you can link to other Padlets and you can upload PDFs and you can brand it so it's your look.
Right.
But it's been really, really beneficial for us.
Right. And you just share a URL with the students? Or they?
Yeah, I'll share it here. It's sceventplan.com, which is what ours is for our event plan. And you can go there and look at it, and it's and go through it.
And so you use a URL, but it takes you right to a Padlet.
Yeah, what I did is I bought a domain name and I masked it and redirected it to that.
Cool. SC Event Plan.
Yeah.
sceventplan.com. Cool. And we can see the use of a Padlet. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's been a really
and it's easy for you to upload stuff. It's easy for you to update stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to have any programming knowledge whatsoever.
Okay.
I mean, if you can use a website, you can use Padlet because it's designed to be pretty simple.
But it's one-way information? It's info from Rich to the masses, or can the masses put info in Padlet as well?
You can set it up so that the masses can put information in there as well. So it's really anybody. It depends upon how you want to use it. So like we can have it set up so that if somebody puts a question up on our FAQ, we can respond to it and make it another part of our thing really quickly.
Oh, cool.
But like I said, we also have some other documents that we've created up there. We've linked it out to a form that we use when somebody wants to have a larger event on campus.
Yeah.
All sorts of things like that.
Right. That's very cool. This is Tech Talk with Rich Ramos.
Tech Talk. I mean, we're going to be on CNET soon.
You love Padlet. What other platforms have you found to be super useful?
There are some that we're probably going to use here in the fall. Like I said, Remo is one.
Yeah. REMO.
REMO, and it's remo.co.
And what is Remo? What does remo.co do?
Basically, in the easiest way to look at it, it's kind of gamified Zoom slightly.
Okay.
So basically, when somebody goes into it, they're going to get the first screen they see is going to be this overview of what look like brightly colored tables with 6 chairs around it.
Okay.
And I can double click on any one of those chairs at a table, and I'm automatically in a private conversation with whoever else is sitting at that table.
Oh, no kidding.
And then if I am done with that conversation, I can hop to another table, and I can hop to another table, and you can just bounce around and have these virtual conversations.
But that's a place where, like, for a club fair, you could have a person sitting at the table who is the president of the baking club is waiting for people to talk about baking.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to use for our organizations fair.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to use it for our organizations fair, and we're probably going to use at least some of it for our sorority recruitment as well.
It's limited. It's limited to 5 empty chairs, right?
It's limited. It depends upon what. I think the most you can have in there is 8. But again, it comes down to how much you want to pay.
And is there a waiting room to get into the
There isn't a waiting room. You just kind of look and see where there's an open chair and a table.
Oh, okay. So
there.
He with the fastest clicker gets the chair.
Exactly. But I mean, here's the other thing is that there's what's called the stage too. So you can have like a major announcement that goes to everybody who's in the room. And when somebody takes the stage, it takes away all those private meetings and just puts Jason LeVasseur on stage.
Right. So so it's kind of like a conference with little mini breakout rooms.
Exactly.
Cool. So you could, but then it does. People go right back to their meetings.
Yeah. Once I'm done on stage, they'll go right back to the table they were.
I don't need to get all the details of this. That's cool. Remo.co.
Yep. And the other one that we're looking at is Hopin.
Hopin.
HopinHopin.com. I think it is.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit less gamified sort of feel. It's almost more like a conference sort of, an online conference sort of feel.
Yeah. What I mean, other than Zoom right now, what have you found another platform that you like for meetings with breakout rooms? Like if you were meeting with all the clubs and orgs and you wanted to do breakout rooms with the clubs and orgs, is that?
Unfortunately, Zoom is probably the easiest. We have a blanket license for the college. So right now that's our preferred format.
Yeah.
We do occasionally use Teams because we're a Microsoft campus as well. So we use Teams as well.
Well, what would you say to the folks that are working on a campus where their supervisors are saying pick one or the other?
Of Teams or Zoom or Remo or whatever.
Yeah, no, I guess what I'm saying is I want schools to advocate to have more than one platform.
Yeah, and I think that they have to. I mean, I think that schools, and I get that there's a financial concern and financial considerations, but you can't, to me, it's not a cookie cutter approach. And I think everybody, and I get every upper administrator wants to be a cookie cutter approach, and you can't have a cookie cutter approach to it.
Right. Because by doing that, making the case as a student affairs person, providing somebody with only one kind of tool to accomplish a job. If you're building a barn, I need a hammer and I need a saw and I need a wheelbarrow and I need this. Yeah. And school is saying, no, you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like you get you get a computer in your office, and the only thing that's on there is notes,
Yeah.
a notes app, and that's it. Well,
Right.
make that work for your whole program. Well, that's not a realistic thing.
Right.
Now I know that there are schools that may have, whether it's like Presence or Engage or some of those larger platforms that are more expensive.
Yeah.
That's great because there's a lot of resources in there, but there are schools like us, we can't afford a larger platform.
Right.
And it's just not in the cards. And I'm sure somebody's going to go when they look at Remo and they say, well, it's like $400 a month. Yeah, it is like $400 a month, but I'm only going to use it for a month.
Uh-huh.
So I don't need to buy it. I'm not buying it for 12 months. I'm buying it for the time
For the club fair. You're using it for a specific event, right.
Yeah, so I'm really going to have Remo for all of a month and a half.
Right.
So it's not, and I'm spreading it out amongst a variety of organizations because Greek Life is going to pay for some, Student Activity is going to pay for some. There's going to be some other groups that pay for parts of it because, there are going to be other people using it. It's not just going to be a Greek program or a student government program.
Right. Collaborating on the fees of those platforms is a
Absolutely.
great idea. Right. Great advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there makes the case for everybody on campus to be networking on their own campus with other clubs and offices. And if at one point your campus was very compartmentalized, do what you can now to break down those barriers before the school year starts.
Absolutely.
Have you found that your campus staff and faculty and professionals are working more collaboratively than before?
It depends upon what it is.
Okay.
I think that what I'm finding is there are people who, the ones who are a little bit more innovative and they're able to adapt to changing situations are the ones that are getting tasked with being engaged and connected and trying to helping out with other things new on campus.
So wait, say that again. Those who are flexible and able to adapt are the ones. Okay.
And the ones who are searching out resources to figure out how to do their jobs better and easier.
Right. I mean, that's good advice for anybody who thinks their job might be on the line.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Showcase your ability to adapt and.
Absolutely. I mean that, and again, I know that the realities are too is that student activities, if a school is going online, I'm sure a lot of schools are going to say, well, student activities really isn't a necessary position. In some ways, you got to prove our worth, and this is our time to shine and prove that we really are good at what we do. And we have some great resources. We have great connections. We, I'll look at like that virtual events community thing that you started. I've learned a ton there. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've shared a lot, but I've also learned a ton from a lot of different people, which is phenomenal. I mean, I don't know that I would feel like I'm where I am now if it wasn't for some of those conversations, some of those posts, and some of the stuff that's out there.
Well, that's good. That's the purpose of it, is a place to share and have a community. So thanks for that feedback. That makes my heart grow a little bit.
Well, I try.
Yeah, it makes my heart grow a little bit. All right, Rich, 30 years in the field, all these new things this year. What do you know now? Well, this can be, what do you know now that you didn't know 3 months ago? Or what do you know now that you didn't know 30 years ago that you could pass on to younger professionals in the field? Let's start with the 30-year.
Oh, God. I think that what I know now that I didn't know 30 years ago is that I would be just as energized about what I do, if not more so, now than when I started.
You were not expecting to fall in love?
Yeah, there's that. And I wasn't expecting to find enjoyment being in a worldwide crisis sort of thing. I mean, I think that if you would have asked me 30 years ago that said, probably at some point in your career, things are going to go to hell, um, I probably would not have said, okay, I'm peacing out. I'm about 6 or 7 years away from retirement, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I probably would not I would probably have said, I'm gone and I'm done and I'm not going to do this again. But it's been, it's like I said, it's been really pretty energizing in a way. And it's as much as I hate Zoom right now, it's been great to see our students be so excited and hopefully wanting to come back to campus, that they're
Yeah.
excited, and it's exciting to see our students when they haven't connected in a while, or we haven't had a meeting in 3 or 4 weeks, to get on a Zoom call and be excited to see one another. And it's
Sure.
hard to conduct business because they just want to talk and they want to chat and they want to have fun.
Sure. Sure.
And so that's really cool. And if you would ask me that, I would have said, no, hell no.
Right.
What we've been doing here. If you would have asked me at the start of this,
What do you know now that you didn't know 3 months ago? 4 months ago, rather.
I know that I'm still feeling like I'm still fairly creative and are willing to come up with new things and try new stuff and find the fun in things that even suck.
Oh, fine. That's great. That's a great. Find the fun is a great slogan. You know.
And I because I think that you have to have fun, and I still enjoy what I do, and I think it's been finding that fun, and it's being creative and thinking in different ways and challenging myself to do things that I never thought I would probably do, like
Yeah.
write what seemed like 100 pages in a Padlet of policy and crap like that. I hate policy. I hate it with a passion. But
Right.
if you'd have asked me and said that I was going to do that and map all sorts of crap out,
Uh-huh.
back in March, I was like, no, not it. Just kick me out, put me to pasture. I'm done. Give me my hover around and send me on my way.
You hover around.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So find the fun, be creative, keep moving forward. This is good. But you may someday do it on a hover round, right?
I might.
You might someday do it on a hover round. And
If I am still here and I am on a hover round, somebody needs to push that hover round down the stairs and send me on my way.
Is there a body of water on campus?
No, there is not.
Oh, okay, well then you're safe. All right, so let's another big picture question. Real big picture. You're on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only person on the boat, and you were able to choose before you got on the boat. I'm making this a lot longer than it needs to be.
That's okay.
What are your top 5 albums?
Ooh. Top 5 albums.
We can go with bands. Top 5 bands.
Okay, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan.
Uh-huh.
So Jimmy Buffett would be one. I would probably pick Hailstorm.
Can you sing a Hailstorm song?
One of my new favorite songs I like from Hailstorm is "Here's to Us,"
Okay.
which it's not radio friendly, but it's a great song. I can't sing.
You can't sing a Hailstorm song for me? Okay.
Let's see. Who else would I listen to?
What would you categorize? What style of music would you categorize Hailstorm in?
Probably metalish.
Yeah, Buffett and metal in the same minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm pulling up on my Spotify playlist.
Right. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't do karaoke. I did karaoke once and I suck.
Well, you can't judge yourself.
I would probably put on my list Zach Brown Band.
All right.
Luke Combs would be on there.
All right, Luke Combs.
Ben Rector would be one.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's just so much. I mean, like on my Spotify playlist, I have 1,600 songs.
Right. So you got some stuff that you like to do. All right. What if you could only have one Buffett song playing, looping
Uh,
forever?
oh, that's
Buffett was your first artist. Buffett, you said Buffett was the
yeah,
top of the list.
yeah.
Now, is there a song?
Ooh,
Okay, I know there's different levels of songs. There's the songs that make you feel warm and fuzzy, and there are the songs that make you raise your glass. Right?
yeah,
You're a parrot head.
yeah. I would say if there's one song I had to put, it's called "Breathe In, Breathe Out,"
Okay.
and it's in a way it's kind of talking about it, which is weird because it kind of is symbolic of where we are right now.
Yeah.
It's reminding you to breathe in. We'll get through it, and life will goes on, and we'll make it through, and we'll weather this, even though it's really crappy right now.
Cool.
But I've liked that song for years.
Right.
Everybody, a lot of people really like the stuff that everybody knows, like Margaritaville and
Sure.
those are my least favorite songs of his because I think that, one, they're overplayed, and I think they're just mediocre. But let's be honest, he's not that talented of a singer. It's more about the experience, the environment, and that sort of thing. But I think it's probably Breathe In, Breathe Out if I had to put one song on playlist.
Well, that's cool. I'm excited to put that on the playlist then. Do you know well enough to recite any of the lyrics other than the breathe in, breathe out?
Oh.
You-
Shoot, you would put me on the spot like this.
I mean, do you think you could look directly in the camera and tell me the lyrics?
No, I can't off the top of my head. I hate when people put me on the spot. Oh, my fifth artist is Jason LeVasseur.
Oh, stop it. Neither do I. I know all the lyrics to my songs. That's the truth.
Well, see, what can I say? I'm not a very good person.
No. But I think what I'm trying to get at is I'd like us to sing a song together.
Oh no, we're not singing a song together.
Um, Mother Ocean.
Nope, I am not singing with you.
I've heard you call.
I'm not singing.
Da, 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 when I was 6 feet
3
tall.
feet tall.
Oh, 3 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
But you're okay. And what's the next line?
I think it's You've Seen Them All.
How does it sound? How does it sound when it's sung?
You know what? I can play it on my computer for you.
No.
No, I am not singing. This is not my showcase episode.
I like mine with lettuce and tomato.
Oh, I will not sing that song.
57 French fried potatoes.
Now, I will sing that after I've had a few cocktails at the show.
Okay. All right.
But, maybe we'll do that sometime when we're together again at some point.
Yeah.
Then we'll do it.
You're strong, Rich Ramos. You're like an oak.
I don't know about that.
I could not crack you. You're an uncrackable walnut. Well,
There are some things I won't give in on. So.
all right. No, thank you. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for the good tips on the tech. And thanks for being there for your students. And thanks for being there for your colleagues. And thanks for being there for the community.
Well, I try.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
bringing the
You're
fun and
gonna-
bringing the laughter and really keeping the perspective. It is a big old hailstorm out there right now. And
Years or so.
it's an opportunity, like right now is a real nice opportunity because of our, we'll call it downtime, to reflect on what else we like to do. What brings us joy, right? What energizes us so that we're good at our jobs. But is our job the only thing?
Agreed.
Right.
And it's funny because I think that over the years, I've worked a lot of big shows over the years.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I remember coming home from California like 2 years ago, or I know what it was, is when I was out on the road with Mumford & Son for a month. And I came home and I told my wife, as we were talking about things, and she was asking how everything was going, and I said, I always used to think that the entertainment industry was fairly dysfunctional. That, you know, it's pretty aggressive and it sometimes, and it moves really fast, and they're not concerned about people's feelings. It's like stuff's got to get done. We got to make it happen. And I I never realized that that's actually more functional sometimes than higher ed is sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that to keep me in perspective when I'm working with my students, before, instead of getting into this political game or any of that sort of stuff. I truly still want to make sure my students have the experience that they expected when they came to college at Simpson. I want them to walk away in 4 years and having a really, really hard time walking across that stage, because it's hard for them to leave.
Right.
Because to me, that says that they had an experience, not so much just purely in the class, but out of the classroom.
Right.
It makes it hard to go. And I want them to have that. And the work in those outside shows has given me that perspective and kind of changes how I work with students. I mean, I'm when I work with my students, I'm pretty much a no BS sort of guy, and I'm going to be brutally honest with them. And it's not so, and I think there are some people think that, oh, you're being really hard on your students. No, I'm being honest with them. And there's one student, former student of mine, I think you may have known, his name's Evan.
I do know Evan.
I remember one time he was mad at me after an event when he was a student here.
Yeah.
And he didn't like, because I called him out for not doing something or not stepping up to the way I expected him when he was in a leadership position. And he got really mad at me and was saying, don't you ever, he tried to call me out.
Sure.
And I was like, you know, we're not playing this game. I said, you're talking about going into student activities as a profession. And I said, it's not about being a leader and just pointing at people and telling them to do the job. You need to actually do the job too. So that doesn't mean that you just get to stand there and point. You're going to pick up trash. You're going to pick up chairs. You're going to fill tables. You're going to do whatever. And I said, if that's the mentality you're going to have when you choose to go into this profession, then I don't want you in my profession. He didn't speak to me for about 3 days. But he came back, and he's turned into an amazing professional. Right. And Evan is family in our house. He knows how to get into our house when we're not home. He's always welcome in our house. So, but it's one of those things.
But that's a really valuable leadership lesson right there for everybody in that story, is that you have to be willing to pick up the trash and stack the chairs and move the tables. And this, I learned that lesson at camp. My first big leadership role, I was a pointer, maybe the way you would say that your young Evan was at the time. And rather than being a good leader, I was just bossy, right? Yeah. And you learn to stop being bossy and pitch in, because otherwise you're just not gonna. You're gonna disengage with the people who you're supervising, and anyway. We could talk about this for a long time, right?
We could.
But it's awesome. I had a great conversation with Evan. He's another one of the folks that's going to be featured as the interviewee.
That's awesome. Did he talk about me? I hope he mentioned my name, because if he didn't, there's going to be hell to pay.
Well, I can always put it in like I can. No, I think some of these have been some of these are more conversational.
Yeah.
Right? And I think this might go down as a conversation/interview.
Totally okay.
But I was thinking, you mentioned that you want your students to have trouble crossing the stage when they graduate, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, if the event happens where you slack off a little bit and you're not doing your job and making them have a tough time crossing the stage, you can always make it hard for them to cross the stage by pouring syrup or honey on the actual stage, and then it will make it difficult for them to.
Oh, valid point.
Right.
Or put oil on the ramp.
There's always a backup plan.
That's good. You're right. That is true. That is true.
Yeah. I want to make it hard for my students to leave this institution. So I'm gonna put peanut butter on the doorknob. Anyway, I'll keep going.
Lock the doors.
Lock the doors. Hide their shoes.
Oh.
Take only their right shoe.
Steal their room keys. their car keys,
Do whatever you can to make it difficult for folks to leave.
slash their tires.
Definitely slash the tires. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm game. I am game.
This has not been recorded.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Rich.
I'm glad to do it anytime for you. Anytime. Yeah.
Well, there's talk in a couple other interviews that we want to see where this is all going.
Yeah.
And there's perhaps a revisit, a monthly revisit.
I am totally game.
Right? I think it'd be fun to create something. I actually started thinking about this way last week, and now I'm not going to edit any of this out. Just so everyone knows. I think this is important for us to talk about.
Yeah.
We're brainstorming together, and this is what we need to do in higher ed. Is like, let's come up with another plan. What's our next thing? What's the next thing? How can we make it better? Is to take these interviews and to check in with all the folks that I've talked to.
Yeah. I think it'd be really cool.
Wouldn't that be?
Because in a month, we'll be in the throes of it.
Yeah. And no one's going to have time.
I hope we'll be in the throes of it.
No one's going to have time to talk to me. Well,
I would make time to talk with you.
Well, the truth is, there's going to be a few week period or almost a month period when I'm going to be equally busy, which is wonderful. I love the virtual platform, and I'm glad that we have embraced it and moved forward. And I want to inspire other higher ed professionals out there who may not be doing that. We're not going to go backwards.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is, and I've told my students this, is nothing is going to be the same.
Yeah.
And as much as we want it to be the same, life is not going to be the same. It never will be. And while there'll be some sort of normalcy to it, it's not going to be the same. I hate the phrase, it's the new normal. That makes me crazy. There's some words like that I'm getting annoyed with, like the new normal. I'm getting annoyed with the word virtual because I think it's getting overused.
Yeah. I'll remove that. I'll remove that from the title of this event.
No, that's okay. It's already out there. I mean, I've seen the video spots you've made. So,
but I agree. I do hear what you're saying. Yeah. But I think an important lesson, another one for us, is that let's think about why your wife married you in the first place. And we can, if we can maintain that level of fun and joy and genuine love for what we're doing, and find the silliness in all of this, our marriage is going to stay together. Rich, you and I are going to stay.
Yeah, and it's it's again, you still got to find the fun in it all. It's even in the most. I mean, here's one for you. And I'm surprised. I am really surprised I'm still employed some days. So, like, I was on a call. We were on a call for our student development staff, and we were talking about like protocols for the fall, and somebody was talking about temperature taking. And my daughter's an athletic trainer.
Yeah.
And so, in a conversation, she said the most accurate way to get an accurate temperature reading is rectal.
Yeah.
And so we're on this call, we're talking about temperatures, and I said, FYI, interesting point, as we're talking about taking temperatures of students at events and things, the most accurate reading for temperature is a rectal temperature check.
Yeah.
And everybody had this horrified look on the call like, oh my God, did he just say a rectal temperature for like checking at events? Well, no, I didn't say I was going to check people rectally for their temperature, but it's just the most accurate. I'm just putting that little factoid out there.
But it's the internal temperature of your body.
It is.
It's the internal temperature of your body. Now,
it's the most accurate, and it's just like that's where if I can't like throw a curveball in there just for the fun of it, what's the point?
Well, the next level is to design the machine that can do as many as possible, as quick as possible.
Rectal temperature checks?
At events, yeah. It's like the football the watering trough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you just got a PVC pipe with duct tape thermometers on it, so people can just run up and.
Oh. Wow, that's an image.
Yeah, I mean, you provide the wipes, right?
Yeah. I mean, you sanitize. Maybe that's where somebody like the team assistant is there wiping them off for every use.
Look,
It's
man,
an alcohol swab.
it's
I mean,
not,
this conversation's gone straight to hell.
yeah, it's great. But we need these moments.
Agreed. I 100% agree.
Okay, now in your mind, think about another professional who you know. So, like, I love that you're genuinely yourself, right? And I feel like I try to be genuinely myself all the time. And by being genuinely yourself, and I'll say this to any young professional out there, when you're genuinely yourself, not everybody's going to like you.
True.
Right? So
True.
that funny conversation is going to really, really throw off somebody.
It is. It probably is. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I am who I am. And as I tell somebody I'll talk to my students and they're feeling like they're concerned about they're making a decision that's going to piss somebody off.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I don't need any more friends. I mean, you know what? I got plenty of Facebook friends. I feel okay where I am. So, or it's like, we have an event and they feel like it went bad, or the artist or performer just wasn't very pleasant or whatever. And it's a lesson I learned in the other major events. It's just one day and life will go on. And at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. It happened. Nobody's going to know what was horrible about it except you.
Right.
Story for you. We move on and it's okay. And so I mean, I've adopted that pretty well, I think. Anyway.
Sure. I mean, but you're goal oriented, sort of like you're mission driven, right? So the decisions that you're making are to accomplish the goal, the mission, right? They're not. Yeah. You're not making willy-nilly decisions, right? Yeah. Right. So yes, in some of those decisions, people might disagree with you. Folks might have a different way of doing it, but really, if you're the one in charge and you've been sort of given the reins on a program or an activity or something, do what you do unapologetically. And I'm saying this to all the advisors out there: do your thing. You're not. You weren't hired to impress everybody. You're right. You were hired, accomplish what you want to accomplish and kick booty along the way. And when you're genuinely yourself, you're not supposed to. You weren't put on this earth to make friends with everybody.
Nope.
You were not.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And I think that too many people worry about that. And I mean, I am who I am, and I can't change it. I've been this way for years. I blame my mother and my father, both of them, and that's who I am. Well,
it's good to not take responsibility for who you are. blame others. Rich Ramos. It's not my fault.
It's my Puerto Rican father and my Italian mother, who were both two fiery personalities.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You also, and if I can be of help any other time, don't hesitate to let me know. I am always happy to chat with you.
This is fun. Thank you.
This is really fun.
Good. Let's do this monthly.
Yeah, we can do it weekly if you want. I'm there.
Yeah. All right. I think then we should invite other people and turn it into a cocktail.
Oh my God, I'm totally okay. Drinks with Jason and Rich.
Oh man, who wants? Look, we can charge tickets. All right.
Oh, I think you're right. We can monetize this. We can make bank.
Let's do it.
Bye.
All right. Happy Tuesday.
Same to you. Great talking with you.
Thanks.
See ya.
Adios. Bye.
Later.
Thank you.
Bye.